ASA. Game on Daily.
Welcome to my weekly Activision Blizzard King news, update, breakdown, commentary and analysis. That's not true. We don't talk about that here. This is the world of Q&A, sir, where we talk about games past, present and future, things going on this week. That woman was tall. No, I'm just sitting really low. Shut up. She'll be back and forth a lot, by the way. It's not a very good background this week. Anthony, that's a name I haven't seen around here before. Welcome. Peter Ryler, Painful Discourse, of course. Kratos, there's no dodging it, no excuses. What would I be making excuses for? Jordan's here. You love hearing me talk about the ABK stuff, hence the start of the stream. Replicant, welcome. Replicant, are you still playing Forspoken? I saw you saying that you've got a morbid curiosity about playing Gollum, which is funny. You have to finish your Forspoken before you can go on to the even lower rated Gollum game. Background why? What do you mean? There's always a background. I don't know, it's just, there's not a reason for it, I just always have one, you know? Let's do, before we get into it, a word from our sponsor. Is our sponsor ready? Yeah, our sponsor's ready. Here it is. It's Game On Daily. Website, platform, thing, all the gaming news and stuff. Go there, talk to people, find your new favourite content creators or your old ones, whatever it may be. That's what it's all about. Now, let's talk about the show. So, I mean, this week, I can't help but make this week primarily like PlayStation centric, right? Because we've had obviously the PlayStation showcase yesterday where they showed some things and some people are unhappy and some journalists are very happy and some people are somewhere in between. And the main bit of other news was the show was not as good as the background, so yeah, I don't like this background. The other bit of news was also Sony oriented because they came out with some like strategic PowerPoint slides the day before as well. You don't like the background, it's bad, I don't like it. No one's named the background yet. I want to talk about it when you do. Tony, you've never played Dragon's Dogma and Darge bought it for you. He bought it for you yesterday in response to that reveal, or he bought it for you ages ago. You stop being negative, you butt. Everyone just like cheer up, please. Sam Stern, you have to go sadly, but thank goodness I hid the crooked poster. Sam, I can assure you the poster is still crooked, but on a Thursday it's not here. But thanks for stopping in. Do appreciate that. Right, let's get into it. So, breakdown as always. I've not done the Discord thing because no one volunteers to come to Discord anyway, but if anybody desperately wants to present their face and or voice to the world, let me know and I'll open Discord and we'll set up the waiting rooms in the usual way. So I do invite people to come on and spend a couple of minutes talking through Discord to the world. That is an option. Darge, welcome. You enjoyed the thumbnail clip on Twitter. Thank Isla for that. I don't do these things. You would ruin the show with your dwindling sanity and your wrong-sized teaspoons. I don't think you would, but that is fine. Like I said, I'm not even on Discord, so not a problem. We do still have conversation. You can talk in the YouTube chat, and I read as much as I can, and we have this nice back and forth. You can talk to me, you can talk to each other. That's all very welcome, and a thing that kind of is going quite well for this show. So there's a lot of people coming back every week that are getting to know each other and having these little chats. I like that a lot. Of course, At some point during the show, there will be the YouTube Q&A, not Q&A, sir, actual Q&A, questions and answers box. You can stick whatever you want in there, questions, jokes, not riddles, and any comments that will definitely be addressed at the end of the show, because that's how we do these things. So, Baz Crypt Keeper, you had a message to me on the Xbox platform 23 days ago. For some reason, I looked on the PC Xbox app today, and it said message request. You've got like 48 message requests or something, and I clicked it to see what was there, and it was a whole load of bots, like with name, number, giving me spam and hidden inappropriate messages and whatever else. And then there was a real name. It was Baz Crypt Keeper, saying add me as a friend and I'll send you free games. Baz, I don't need free games, like thank you very much, but of course I'll add you on Xbox. So that is done. We are there, we are friends. Dreaming of you and your godly bod. Dodge, what on earth are you talking about? How was Ibiza? Have you played any good games since? And this question for everybody, what have you been playing this week? This is how we always start. We talk about some games. So what's everyone been playing? What's good? What's bad? What do you regret buying? What have you downloaded on your favorite subscription service? How is it going on that front? I have been playing. No, that's all right. She's not that big, like proportionally relative to me. I don't think the scale is massively off on the background. I need Nando's, not games. I need both, Dodge. Your mouse just died. That's what you get for the Duolingo thing. You've been playing Planet of Lana. Pizza, I've seen... Well, I say Lana. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I've seen that getting nice review scores, and I'm unsure whether it's for me. Welcome, Joe. What do you think, Pizza? You know a bit about my taste in games. Would I enjoy Planet of Lana? Would I like it more than Somerville? Oh, my voice is already going. Fortunately, my drink for the evening is Lemsip. Let's see how this works out. Ah, no, not well, not well. I'll do my best to keep talking, but... Planet of Lana for about 2 hours. Fair enough. Am I ill? No, I'm fine. Ish. Just, like, I've got a cold. It's annoying. My voice will probably go. Kratos, you ended up getting the Castlevania Advanced Collection, and you're about 3 hours... Oh, and you played about 3 hours of Circle of the Moon. Is that part of the Castlevania collection? Circle of the Moon sounds kind of Castlevania-y. It's not an IP that I've ever really played, like none of those. What inspired you to go and get that collection? Was it anticipation and or disappointment about a Castlevania announcement at the show yesterday? Jedi Survivor is one of your favourite games this year, easily. And you're playing that on PC, aren't you? So it must be acceptable on the PC now. I have access to it. I've still got my EA subscription, so I can download Jedi Survivor. I was just waiting for a certain number of patches and a certain number of other games to be completed out of the way. But Jedi Survivor will happen very soon. Jordan, you finish games so quickly. You finished Planet of Lana on Game Pass. It's beautiful. You're starting something for review that launches soon. Nothing big, but a very cool concept. Horror-ish. So is Planet of Lana something I would like? Kratos, you restarted Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Yeah, that dropped on PlayStation Plus this month, isn't it? If anybody has a PlayStation and hasn't played Rift Apart, it is well worth playing. Well worth playing. Decent, fun, shooty mechanics. Very pretty. And that's all I've really got to say about it. Butter. Don't be gross. What do you say butter for? Don't remember a Castlevania announcement at the Xbox show yesterday. Oh, Patrick, you little troll. No, but it was rumoured. Because of Konami's presence, there were rumours that maybe the Castlevania thing would be there. It was not. Kratos has just always wanted the Advanced Collection, and it was on sale. I haven't dared look at the current sale. Actually, that's not true. I had a look at the current sale. So PlayStation have it on their blog without the prices listed because it's a global blog. I just have the lists of titles. And I looked at it briefly. It was in alphabetical order, and I couldn't focus on a text list of game names in alphabetical order, so I didn't see anything to look at. You're playing Bolt Gun, the new Warhammer shooter. Yeah, I know what Bolt Gun is. The retro styled first-person shooter, right? I've heard that it is very good, but I'm not sure. I've got no exposure to the Warhammer universe, really. You like the new Xbox UI? I've not really looked at it yet. Press the like button. Everyone's already pressed the like button. Why wouldn't they? I've got this terrible background. What's not to like? Nobody has identified the game yet. Shame on you all. It's an easy one. Not literal shame on you all, but someone say what it is so I can talk about it. I'm still looking for that answer though, so thank you AJH. And oh, you just did and I missed it. Well, yes, it is The Witcher 3 specifically, and it looks terrible. You thought Dragon's Dogma? Oh, Dragon's Dogma would have been a smart choice, wouldn't it? Would have been like relevant. Blade Whipper, yes. Is that played? Yes, it is. It's The Witcher on PC, so The Witcher 3 on PC with all of its like ray tracing bells and whistles. It's not potato settings, it is ray tracing Ultra Plus. And it looks freaking awful. Like The Witcher looked better before they did that to it. So you do have like, I don't even know what to say about it. Like it's horribly dark through most of the internal environments, because they've gone through and added all this ray traced lighting, but it's like they didn't actually cast eyes over it and see if it makes sense, the light sources that they're using to cast. So actually the kind of darkness that you see beside me over there, most of the interior of this building is that dark, with these really bright spots for the stage and a couple of the tables. So I had to pick an angle that kind of showed some light, or you couldn't see anything. It's not The Witcher 2, it's definitely The Witcher 3. It's definitely at its absolute highest settings. It definitely didn't look good. But you know, it's there. Which is a shame, because I was thinking, like, I had The Witcher, the reason that I've chosen this background is I've had The Witcher 3 installed for quite a while, thinking that with the ray tracing update and stuff, I should go back, I should revisit it. It's a brilliant game, I'll play some Witcher. And it just looked bad. Peter, I'm going to have to stop the show soon. The lass in green wants my table and she's not subtle, I know. And it's quite a short loop as well. Even without that, she's, yeah, repeatedly walking back, staring. Getting all hostile, but I'm not moving. This isn't even like a Witcher table. I borrowed the table from Horizon, so she can't have it. You loved The Witcher 2. I loved all of the Witcher games when they were fresh. But yeah, yes, Replicant, just candlelight. It probably, yeah, it's too dark because it's daytime outside as well. And sometimes you have to sacrifice a bit of realism for a bit of being able to see the freaking game. I don't know, it just doesn't quite work. You thought it was a Sims expansion. It's still, I reckon, I don't even know. I need to have a play around with it and see how good I can make it look. Maybe to fully enjoy The Witcher today, I'll just need to add a few mods and bump it up a bit. Never ending Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is a very long game that took me a lot of stints to get through. Speaking of long games, I haven't started talking about what I've been playing this week yet. I played a very little bit of Horizon Forbidden West, which I'm still very much enjoying. That is another game that is far too long. Many games are far too long. But I like that one. I have to say, off the cuff without thinking this through, so I'll probably regret saying it, Horizon Forbidden West might be my favourite current gen game if you consider like the Series X and PlayStation 5 as the current gen. Is that true? I've got no idea. I should think that through before, like, think, then speak. But then I'll end up sitting there in silence, and that's no good for anyone, is it? So I'm going to stick with it for the time being. I think it might be my favourite current gen game. I like it more than God of War, for sure. I like it more than like Halo Infinite, for sure. What else has been good this generation? I've played a bunch of stuff, but I really struggle to place things that happened any more recent, like any less recently than yesterday. I liked playing Demon Souls. That was a good game. Nathan, good evening. Good evening. What else? You tell me your favourite games of the generation so far. That's a bit of a broad question to throw at you, but there must be things that I liked more than Horizon, right? Wasteland 3 is yours. Wasteland 3, I think came out at the tail end of the previous, didn't it? It was pretty close. I liked Wasteland 3 a lot. AJH, have you seen Miasma Chronicles? Or whatever it is, Miasma something or other. That might be a good option for you if you like the turn-based stuff. I've been looking at it. Tony DM'd me about it as well to see if it was a thing I would stream. I'm going to bring up a trailer. Launch trailer. It's on the PlayStation channel, but it'll do. It's not post-apocalyptic as far, well, might be post-apocalyptic, but it's not a similar setting to Wasteland, but it is a turn-based game in that vein that looks kind of good. The Lamplighters. You've been playing the Lamplighters? Lord of the Rings Gollum is your game of the generation. It's like currently rated at about 38 across the Metacritic aggregate sites, right? Background has been guessed, Tony. Yes, it has, but the OST hasn't. Oh, the Lamplighters is similar to Wasteland. No, that's a Game Pass one, isn't it? That's coming out before too long. Can't remember who makes and publishes it, but... What OST? Yeah, you can't hear it right now, but you will hear it again soon. It's still playing, it's just in a quiet section. Still need to finish God of War Ragnarok. I could do like a separate secretive spoiler cast stream to talk about Ragnarok, but I'm not going to go into details of what I did and didn't like about it here. Very much like the combat. So I'll give you that. That's not a spoiler, right? I want to play this Miasma Chronicles. This looks good. Don't know if it's like a good setting, a good story, all that kind of stuff, but could be worth a look. You need to finish Forbidden West. It's a long game. It's a weird thing to like begrudge games being long, but I do. There are lots of games that are like, this is so long, and that should be a good thing, that a game's got plenty of like content and value and you can play it forever. But who has time to play a game forever? So yeah, I'm struggling with that, much as I haven't finished Ghost of Tsushima yet for the same reason. Horizon Forbidden West gives me similar vibes of like, it's too big. It's too big, but I am really enjoying it, so I will get through it. Nathan Martin, High on Life, Psychonauts 2 and Sons of the Forest is what you're playing this week, or those are your games of the generation? Sons of the Forest is an interesting choice. Psychonauts 2 I haven't finished yet. It's a very good game, but I haven't finished it yet. AGH, you got the Steam early access for that Wayfinder and it's basically broken. You couldn't start the game, just waiting in a loading screen. I've seen they've been promoting quite heavily on Twitter the fixes and balance changes that they've made to various classes and things. I'm not sure, that game isn't massively doing it for me. Like I wish that it would. Maybe I need to see a bit more of it, but it doesn't yet. Peter, the Miasma Chronicles, yes, it is multiplat. Yes, it is XCOM-like. It's on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, I think. Sony is in trouble. God Emperor Sofa King. I'm not sure if I would take it quite that far. We need to master eternal life, which not sleeping would help. Like, just sleep takes up so much time that could be spent playing games. You don't want to spoil Horizon Forbidden West story. You found story-wise, you're in the same place as me, then Replicant, I think. Which is, for me, I'm like 50 or 60 hours in, which is long. Nathan, you can't really finish Sons of the Forest, although there is a story mode. Yeah. So I've also been playing. This one's a real danger for me. You've probably seen me streaming it. I've been playing quite a bit of Warcraft 3. Which is like old, and it's really refreshing. And I say that it's dangerous for me because I'm playing this old game and kind of enjoying it more than I typically enjoy new games, and it's like at risk of leading me astray and pulling me right off of the current hype cycle of whatever's hot this week. Because I play it and I'm like, this is a game, and I'm playing it and it feels like a game is supposed to feel. And I don't mean like that the interactions, the keyboard and mouse and the way everything moves and things like that. I just mean that you can tell that this was a game that was designed before dark patterns were a thing. I like dark patterns, by the way. Is everyone familiar with that term? Has everyone seen it being thrown around as the sinister bastardism it is? You've been playing Borderlands 3. Oh, I want to play that. In fact, Borderlands 3 would be a good stream co-op game to invite people to, wouldn't it? Maybe I should do some of that. Is Borderlands 3 cross-platform? You've heard of Dark Patterns. Dark Patterns is like hidden sinister elements of a game's design that are supposed to lead a player into sinister directions, i.e. spending money. So yeah, it's probably come up here when we were talking about compulsion loops and things like that. But Dark Patterns come up in quite a lot of like legal cases and things like that. It's quite a formally recognized term. Epic got in a lot of trouble for dark patterns in Fortnite that were leading children to accidentally spend money and things like that. And it's one of those things, you're not supposed to be particularly aware of them. If they're well designed by our evil overlords, then you don't particularly notice that they're there, but they are. And when you go back to an old game like Warcraft 3, it's like, oh, something different here. It's not leading me to do anything that I wouldn't naturally want to do. It's just a good game that I want to play. I like that a lot. Peter, there are so many crap new games. You would wondered if it was you or the games. You think it's a bit of both. You need a game to hold you. Starfield, please do it. Yeah, there's like it's a weird one because there's so much good about current games as well. They are still massively impressive and exciting in their own way, but there's so much, like, I don't know, it's got the commercialized teeth in it. All of these things following formulas and yes, the dark patterns and all the rest of it. So I don't want to like throw away modern games, but it's like just going back to Warcraft 3 is like this shouldn't feel as nice as it does to play something so clean, if that makes sense. You're going to use dark patterns as your excuse for buying in-game cosmetics, and Replicant, you will probably be right. Like any game that's got that kind of thing probably does include sinister dark patterns, and I like it because it sounds like the name of it is as sinister as it actually is. It's an insidious name for something that is insidious. So dark patterns. Ooh. You get annoyed if a game is pushing you to buy shit even if you like it. It's not just it's not necessarily that direct though. Like that's quite a recognizable pattern if it's pushing you into a shop, but it's the things like the example that I always go back to is like daily quests and things like that. Stuff that's trying to hook you and pull you in using compulsion loops and all the rest of it, rather than just being a game that's good. And then they do that and they funnel you in. I can turn the OST up, it is there, it might get a bit too loud later, but it is quiet right now. Now you can probably hear it a little bit. You're stealing it. You're going to make a game called Dark Patterns. Do it, Patrick. If it's the game you're already like envisaging and working on, and we've just come up with a name for it, do it. I don't even want any of your monies. I do. I want most of it. Diving into the dark web and conspiracies. It's not dark web stuff, Tony. It's not. It really is like front and center of... There's like legal precedent around it, I'm sure. Yes, FOMO is another marketing tool. As Diablo 4, you're hoping to be your game of the year. Yeah, I really want Diablo 4 to be good, and I'm really concerned for the Battle Pass element of it. Like, this is opposite example of Warcraft 3. Diablo 4 looks like it's going to be a really good game there, but it's definitely going to do that sinister shit. So, Space Denizen, welcome along. Sounds like an eerie puzzle game. The game will be identified, I'm sure of it. I get executive producer credit for naming it. Yes. Nathan Marston, you think what Devolver Digital have been doing? You think Devolver Digital have been doing bits? You've been talking to Darge too much. Game Pass opening me up to old titles and genres you'd normally pass up or not consider. Vampire Survivor and Power Wash Sim are guilty pleasures. I've never played Power Wash Sim. I can't bring myself to do it until it arrives in VR. And then I'll do it to visit some of the... It's one of the only games I very rarely like cross-game promotions. But Power Wash Simulator, letting you go to like Final Fantasy's Midgard or the Warhammer universe or all of these other things to clean up weird shit. It works there. It's the kind of cross-promotion I accept. Oh, Dark Patterns sounds like an eerie puzzle game. No, you've ruined it, Isla. Dark Patterns is a good name. Space Denizen PSVR Beat Saber is legit. The thing with Beat Saber, like I like Beat Saber, it shouldn't be as good as it is, but it really is that good. It's just that it's that good with mods and custom music. Basically, you have to do Gangnam Style. It's the best Beat Saber track, and I don't think it's an official Beat Saber at all. That might sound silly, but It's a well-curated track that makes you basically do the dance in places, so it's the best. Psychonauts is not the background, no. You would like an eerie puzzle game. Fuck you. Oh, I'm so, like, weary. So many people hate me. I don't want you to swear at me. Be nice. God Emperor Sofa King, is it you? Are people forgetting or underestimating Bethesda Game Studios? You fully believe that Starfield will be this console gen Skyrim? Like, yeah, I have high hopes for Skyrim, but not for Skyrim. Also high hopes for Skyrim. I'm going to keep playing that. Starfield should be all of those things that you say. Like, it's space Fallout, right? And it's going to be brilliant. And it's going to be all the things that people expect. When Bethesda first announced it and people said, oh, it's just Skyrim in space or Fallout in space, those people were right. It's that built up, built bigger, built better. And I am personally just always going to be sad that it's not in VR like Bethesda's other games are. But, you know, hopefully they'll leave some hooks in there and the community will get that working for me. What was my game on the Sony showcase? Resident Evil 4 VR. I'm very glad that Resident Evil 4 VR is the full game in VR from the looks of things, rather than just a little side mode. Because it could have gone the other way. In fact, we'll leave that because we will go through the Sony showcase in just a moment. Glad to see Plucky Squire again and confirm that it'll be this year. That was your highlight of the whole show, was Plucky Squire. Cool. Wait a minute. I need to see. I've let some stuff scroll. I need to see what it is. So you just bought some new RAM last night to prep for all of those Sony exclusives. You're never relying on a device when building a PC again. You went with 16 gigabytes to start, and you're feeling the limitations now in 4K. Whose advice was it? I will say, in the PC space at the moment, like, graphics cards are still horribly priced mostly, but memory and storage is pretty good right now. So if you've got a PC and you want some more memory, it's pretty cheap. So that's pleasant. Same for NVMe drives and stuff like that, fast storage. There was a time a couple of years ago where that stuff was really expensive, and now it's not. Now it's cool. OST sounds like a spy game, does it? I missed that. Don't go over the showcase again. You did watch it once. Of course we're going to go over it. God Emperor Sofa King, Arizona Sunshine was unfortunately a CGI trailer, so it doesn't mean very much. The first Arizona Sunshine was a really good early VR game. Vertigo Games that make it are one of the few proper VR studios that stick to their guns and make VR games over and over. So Arizona Sunshine 2 will probably be really good. But the trailer is not really anything to judge it on. I'm throwing you off the scent. What the hell was Concord? Concord was a mess, wasn't it? Let's bring up the Sony YouTube channel and get this done. And I'm going to drink some more of my Lemsip. The Sony YouTube channel, the PlayStation YouTube channel. We're going to go through the showcase. In fact, how shall I run through it? Play all. Don't play all though. So I'm going to look through in reverse order, work through the game. So we're not going to talk about all of them because it will take ages, but we're going to talk about some highlights, right? I know that you've all seen it. I know we watched it yesterday. I know that Gaz spoiled every trailer by being 5 seconds ahead. GoldenEye, nope. It's not GoldenEye. All of the trailers are also on the Xbox channel. Yes, a lot of the trailers are on the Xbox channel. There was a lot of multi-platform at the showcase. That doesn't diminish it for me whatsoever. I don't mind multi-platform games as discussed many times. Peter Morland, the PlayStation VR games were the best and you don't have VR. There were some interesting VR games. There were only 4 of them in there, but I think 3 of them were good and 1 of them maybe. Gaz was loving it last night. Yes, he was. Can we see the Gran Turismo movie trailer again? Hell no, we're going to skip that. That was not part of the gaming showcase. You can pick up your GPU for 600 to 700 now, which is why you're considering upgrading to a 7900 XT, as there isn't much difference in price if you sold yours. Yeah, but Nvidia's better, right? I actually don't know what, I don't know which card the 7900 XT lines up against and how it's priced by comparison. Looked like Sony ran out of money hatting money. Ooh, Cat Quest, Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever it was, Caribbean. Yeah, let's go through. So the first one is worth talking about because it looks horrendous. This is a trailer from Haven Studios. They have... Is it Amy Hennig Studio? Someone... No, it's Jade Redmond. One of the two of them. I don't know. One of these like big-time producers that everyone knows about. Founded this studio. They worked for Google Stadia. Google Stadia fell apart. They became this. They started working with Sony. Sony acquired them before they've ever released anything. This is their trailer for their first game as a Sony studio and their first game ever. It's just CGI. But it looks like... yeah, it's Hyena, exactly, AJH. It looks like a cross between Rogue Company and Hyena. And that's so drastically underwhelming. Like, I can't even say, oh, it's CGI, there's too much CGI, because even the CGI is like, no, the whole concept of this is blur. We've got this game 100 times already. Why are you making this? Everyone's making this. So that's like... Maybe I'll feel really silly when they release this game and it turns out to be the best of the bunch of the samey games. Maybe I'll really want to play this and Haven will turn out to be a brilliant studio, but it doesn't bode well for the live service push that their live service games look like so many other live service games. Foam Stars, we'll get to it, Tony, we'll get to it. I haven't scanned that code to see if it goes anywhere. PlayStation 5 and PC. Dead on Arrival. You get that impression. One of the main guys works on Watch Dogs, you can tell. Yeah, it's got a bit of that vibe to it, but... X-Defiant and Rainbow Six Extraction. I think, I'm surprised Hyenas doesn't get much attention or talk about it, but that's the one that sprung to my mind. Rogue Company and Hyenas. Which, Hyena... it's a creative assembly game, which is very different to their normal. They normally make Total War games, but they're making a game like that. And there's the Finals as well that has a similar vibe about it. But yeah, I can't see that one doing anything. It has a reasonable name for the kind of game that it is, but yeah. You feel like Microsoft may have locked down the Finals and Arc Raiders for their showcase. Maybe. Has the Finals been announced as a console game? It has, hasn't it? I think the beta was only on PC. But it is supposed to be coming everywhere, and it looks more interesting just because it has shit blowing up everywhere. Creative Assembly got hit with redundancies this week. That's sad. I knew Relic Entertainment had. So Relic, the reason that I bring those up alongside Creative Assembly is that they are also a Sega-owned strategy company, right? Yeah, you might. I hadn't seen the Creative Assembly one, but Relic, also owned by Sega. So Relic made Age of Empires 4. So again, sad to see any problems there, because they seem to be very talented as well and made something great. Is Finals the one from the ex-DICE devs? Yeah, I think it is, Tom. The one that has the Bad Company kind of destruction about it. Finals looks really good, but it didn't set the world on fire when it had its beta, so we shall see on that as well. Back to the Sony showcase, and while we're going through these, anything you want to shout, obviously shout it. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Oh, I've lost my place. There's quite a lot of games. I'm going to try and skip through because I don't want to be here forever. Second game on the list is the Concord teaser trailer, which I'm not even going to show. It was another Sony studio. It's like, what are they called? Fire something. Oh, fine. We'll really briefly show the trailer. It's not a good trailer. It's another live service game, but this one, Firewalk, that's the one. This one is not gameplay. It's just like a spaceship. And we only know that it's another live service shooting game because they gave us a text description that made it sound as generic as possible. Starfield. This is definitely no Starfield. Could be good. You love the old Battlefield Destruction. You never seem to get anything which built off of that stuff. No, indeed. That's Concord, and that's all they showed of that. PlayStation 5 and PC in 2024. Lame. Bad start for the showcase. Sony needs to make their gas unique or bring back some of their successful multiplayer franchises like Killzone or Resistance. Yeah, this is like a real concern, Replicant, because when they said that they were going this direction, I didn't really have a problem with it. Like, it made some sense for Sony to chase a successful live service game in that way, but they're chasing it in the same way that Ubisoft chased it with Hyperscape, and in the same way that so many other companies have chased and failed. And that sucks. Like, they have to do better. Music sounds old now. No one's got the OST yet, have they? Yes, the current music is from the OST. It is not Fallout. It is not Fallout. 2 guesses for Fallout. Interesting. Oh, the next game on the list is Synapse. I'm going to look at this one, and then we'll do a focus. So Synapse has it's voice acted. It's a virtual reality game made by Endreams, who are a cool VR studio. They made Fract and the canoe game that I like, Phantom Covert Ops. They're making this one exclusively for the PlayStation VR 2, which is a bold choice because the PlayStation VR 2 has like less than 1 million out in the wild as far as we know. Sony said that it had 600,000 within its first 6 weeks. But that's a small audience, and yet they've hired the vocal talents of David Hayter and Jennifer Hale, who are 2 of the biggest names in like video game voice acting. So they're spending some money on it, and it's probably going to be brilliant. I just don't know if it will recoup that money for them. It sounds 20s, 30s. Curious, eh? As far as PlayStation showcases go, it was abysmal. The soundtrack is not Route 66. Welcome, by the way, Wayne. Very few hyped... Wait a minute. This is so shady. It has got very few hyped exclusive, lots of CGI trailers, lots of PC footage, games as a service games, multi-plats, a portable device that nobody asked for, and absolutely nothing launching in their game subscription service. All very valid criticism. Apart from the multi-platform one, I don't mind multi-platform games. I wouldn't level that as a criticism necessarily, but let's focus on the VR ones though, so that there's a little bit of structure. So Synapse as a VR game, Endreams, I really like them as a studio because the stuff that they pushed in Covert Ops and in Fract was really quite smart in the way that it leveraged VR controls. So they're a studio that they make a game for VR, but they really think about what does and doesn't work in VR. And like case in point for this game, you have a pistol in one hand and you have telekinetic powers in the other. If you've ever played games in virtual reality, then you like shooting games, then you know what I'm talking about when I say that two-handed weapons can be a little bit funky. So it being pistol and telekinesis is going to make so much sense and be so fun to play. Replicant, you think Half-Life Alyx being absent more or less confirms that it isn't coming? Yeah. It got fast. The music got fast. Yes, keep guessing. You'll get there eventually. Must have vehicles. Vehicular combat. Keep guessing. So, Synapse. For me, it's a shame that it's not coming to the PC, because actually I really like my PC VR setup. But Synapse looks brilliant, and I will buy that for PlayStation VR 2. Next game in the VR list. I'm just going to rush through these because I don't want the show to walk up. I want it to go on forever because, you know, I will lose my voice. Next game in the VR list is from Vertigo Games. Much like Endreams, they are a proper VR studio that are fully focused on making actual VR games rather than anything hybrid, and have stuck with that through the years despite hard times. The problem is that Arizona Sunshine, and I spoke about it a little bit earlier already, but the problem is that this is a CGI trailer, so you can't take too much from it. Arizona Sunshine was a good game, but it was one of the really early VR games, so it managed to get away with being a zombie shooter because there actually weren't that many of them around at that point in time. Arizona Sunshine 2. Why isn't this in game? Why does it look so much like it should be in game? I don't know. This can't be like entirely CGI. It's 2VR like. Anyway, that game is a definite like, yeah, I want Arizona Sunshine 2, but I will probably buy that one on the PC. It should have a heavy co-op focus like the first one did, so if anyone wants to play that with me, I will be there playing it. It'll be great. The only music you know is good music. Tony, this is a well-received, well-respected OST. That makes it good, right? Zombies, you're just sick of them now. Yeah, but some games, like, there are too many zombie games, but at the same time, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is one of my favourite VR games. It's brilliant. Wait, is it Cyberpunk? No, it's not Cyberpunk. Sony don't have the relationship with Steam and Valve that Microsoft do. Yeah, but like other Valve games came to PlayStation, no problem. And Valve are pretty open to supporting all sorts of VR stuff. I don't think they have a hostile relationship. And obviously Sony's games go onto Steam. Not Cyberpunk. What's the question? I don't know. I see question marks and eyes, but... Can't even be asked to cook real rice tonight. Your reheated curry is getting a couple of microwave pouches on the side. What kind of curry, Tom? Always time for some food talk. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. You hate to say this, but fuck me, you're bored with zombie games. You guess they will make them forever. Peter, you can't be bored of them before you've played the VR ones. Like, yes, zombie everything is everywhere forevermore and always will be. And it's like the VR space is even more oversaturated with them than anywhere else. Because I don't know, there's just so many zombie games. Not all of them good. Zombies in The Walking Dead looked a lot better. Saints and Sinners is brilliant. Everyone should play both of those games, including me. As soon as my new treadmill arrives, it's on a boat right now. As soon as it arrives, which is probably going to take like a month and a half to 2 months. Oh my, I'm going to play everything. I've got so much to play. Music sounds familiar suddenly. Ooh. I thought it was fairly iconic, the music, so I thought it would go sooner. Oh, we're getting there. Is it a spy game? Is the OST Barbie's Pony Adventure? It is not Barbie's Pony Adventure. AJH and Replicant have got the series. Now you just need to tell me which one it is. Which is obviously, like, you're basically there now. Steam and Microsoft still don't have a great relationship. Xbox and Steam, however, have a great one. Yeah, they're still competing platforms, but their relationship seems mostly good. Like, there'll always be a weird, like, partner versus competitor vibe between them. Yes, AJH, confidently in there with the boom. It is Metal Gear Solid 3. Obviously not chosen for my love of the game. I've never played Metal Gear Solid 3. It is a stealth game, but chosen because it was supposed to be the big reveal of the showcase yesterday. Can you have assist points for saying spy game? Yeah, go on then. But you also lose a similar amount of points for saying, no, actually there are kind of vehicles in Metal Gear. Are there any vehicles in Metal Gear Solid 3? Answer honestly and carefully, because I was relying on it to retain her assist points. Because obviously you lose those points if you then threw people off the trail, right? But the Metal Gears are kind of vehicles. I don't know if Metal Gear Solid 3 is like a prequel game as far as I know, and I don't know if you encounter vehicles in it. Probably. Chances are good that you get to keep your points. The beginning with the zombies coming out of the water was good. It freaked you out. So Baz, where have you been playing it? You're a PlayStation VR 2 zombie hunter. Or are you somewhere else? Just vehicles, Tom. There is a helicopter, but you don't fly it. She did say she was like more unhinged than usual, so I think we best just like give the bonus points and leave it at that. The only Metal Gear you've played was 5. 5 didn't look very good. It looked like... I've not played it, but I don't mean visually it didn't look very good, but I meant it just looked boring. Like everywhere just seemed to be a desert, as far as I could tell. You could terminate the stream yourself. I invite you to terminate the stream. I dare you to terminate the stream. I will go to sleep. God, Empress Sophie King, you liked Phantom Pain. That was the 5 mini prequel, wasn't it? Phantom Pain. The first VR. Oh, you played Saints and Sinners on the PSVR 1. Oh, Baz, you've missed out. I'm sure I've said before. I'm sure you know, but PlayStation VR 1 is not anywhere close to playing the new ones. So if you are intending to jump in on either the PC or the PlayStation side, you have a treat awaiting you. A treat, I tells you. Takada, your computer is finally getting ordered in 2 weeks. Your pocketbook is gonna cry. It's a gaming PC. You're gonna be getting in on there. You're old school. Old school. But VR's made such dramatic strides since then. I'm excited for you when you do get a hold of it. Whichever one you go for. Just like having proper hands is so good. So good. You got bored as it wouldn't let you go in loud. Yeah, so I played Metal Gear Solid. I played the first one on the PlayStation 1. So not the Metal Gear games, but the Metal Gear Solid game that came out. I played that and burnt through it really quickly. And it might be the game that cemented my loathing of stealth. Because it very much had the like people with cone vision acting as spotlights. Which I didn't like. After seeing Cyberpunk, you're going in loud. Good. Pre-builds are fine. Not everyone has to build them. Building PCs, like, I've described it before as being like, you know that game that kids have where you've got the shapes and you have to put them through the hole that matches. Building a PC is like that, except inevitably like something goes wrong and then it becomes massively frustrating for a few hours. Until it all works and then you forget that you did it and use it forevermore. You can be a killing machine in Metal Gear Solid 5. Ooh. The only Metal Gear you played a bit was Rising Revengeance. Button mashy sword game. Yeah, not very Metal Gear like, right? Wait. We've got to get through more. Oh, Beat Saber I forgot about as a VR game. I'm not going to do the trailer for Beat Saber because it's just Beat Saber. Glad it's coming to PSVR 2. Space Denizen, I think, was saying earlier that it's really good. But it would take some convincing to tell me that I need to get that on PSVR 2 rather than just play it on platforms I've already got it on. Other VR game that I'm less convinced about was Crossfire Sierra Squad. Let's have a little look at this trailer. And it looks good. The only reason that I have doubts about it is that it's Crossfire, and Crossfire has a very spotty history of not being a well-executed IP. But who knows? Maybe it's good. VR makes everything better. Baz, you got a Quest 2 like that having no wires. Yeah, no wires is the best. Goddamn fiddly wires. HAH, if you're talking about building a PC, the two worst parts of building a PC are the stupidly tiny screw that you need for NVMe drives, which is just unacceptable. I don't know, like this is a recent design that someone's come up with. Screws that are stupid. I hate them so much. And yes, the case wires, the power and reset and LEDs and all of those kind of things. Those are bullshit. Like, why have they not fixed them yet? Why have they not standardized it into one plug and like made it simple for everyone? I don't know, but they haven't. Apart from that, it's all easy and simple. Yeah, cold. You wouldn't say it's worth buying again, but the free update, the PlayStation VR 2 version is good, crisp and bright. Yeah. I do like, people look at Beat Saber outside of VR and go, well, like it's probably a bit fun, but it's not worth buying a device for. And that's probably true, but it is well addictive once you start slashing them blocks. So yes, if you do have VR and you haven't got Beat Saber, you should get Beat Saber. Just make them all one. Exactly, AJ. Standardize it into a single easy plug. Cable management is the worst. Cable management. I've got two PCs of decent caliber right now in this room with me. One of them is quite nicely cable managed, and one of them will make you sick. Right, next VR game. So they had the Talos Principle 2, but they didn't show it in VR. You can play the Talos Principle in VR, but not necessarily the sequel. We had skip some games. Resident Evil 4 was mentioned very briefly earlier. And we knew that this was coming to virtual reality because they said so before the game came out. But they said a VR mode was in development, and they never said that that was the entirety of the game or whether it was going to be weird side content. And it was a very legitimate question because Resident Evil 4 is third person. It's over the shoulder. And it's quite action heavy with your parrying and all the rest of it. So how that would work in VR was a bit of an unknown. Whether they'd convert it into a first person game or whether you'd have over the shoulder VR or whether it would be like dodgy side content. Fortunately, the answer is a full on play the whole game in VR. Replicant, is there not a VR mod for Resident Evil 4 on PC? So Resident Evil 4 on PC got VR mod day one pretty much, but it is just the over the shoulder look around but play the game with a control pad VR. What you see here with the gun and the knife is less easy to mod. Like, not necessarily impossible, but I don't know if a first person mod exists, and if there is one, it's unlikely that it works in the same way as what we're seeing there. So Resident Evil 4 might be a PlayStation VR game for me. I might play 8 on the PlayStation VR as well. Just stick them in the right holes and it will be reaped. Exactly, but that's not so easy. Horror strings, you like horror? Yeah, I'm still like partway through Resident Evil 7. It wants my replacement treadmill, right, before I carry on. Shared skitless return. Streaming's really difficult. There's too much to do. Like, I want to lean heavy on the VR streams, I think, but I keep changing my mind and going back between Pancake. The OST's too loud. Yeah, I know. You told me to bring it loud. Right, it's quieter. You've already identified it. You don't need to hear it anymore, right? OST down 24 decibels. That should be fine. OST is having a baby. Not sure about that, Tony. Not how music works. But, so yeah, the shared skitless stuff that I used to do on the Fridays, I did like those Pancake ones. I don't know, are horror VR games fun to watch, or are they less fun than Pancake ones? Would you rather see my tears? Difficult for me to judge. Heart rate monitor, definitely yes. Why not both? Because there's only so much time in a week. This is the Plucky Squire. This is a game that everybody knew was coming, but it is a new trailer for it. Everybody was very excited for it in the first place. Quite curious that it's at the Sony event, because the first reveal trailer was at a Nintendo event. I don't know if Sony have swiped up any kind of marketing sweetness for it, or if it's just they'll go wherever they're given the opportunity to go. Is it going to be great? Is it not going to be great? I don't know. It's going to be great. It looks cool. It looks like a good game. So I'm just showing that one for the sake of it. Any more news about the Sony handheld? The Sony handheld, what kind of news are you looking for? Because the only thing's missing really, I think it's... am I making this up or did I read this? I think it's due to release in November, but I could be wrong. It might be sooner. I don't think we've had a price yet. And they have confirmed that it is just remote play. So you have to have a PlayStation 5 and you have to stream from that. Bunch of Warhammer stuff came out today. What do you mean, Decado? What came out today? Mitchipoo, welcome. You were surprised at how easy it was to build a PC, at least in your experience. Toughest aspect was deciding the exact parts that you wanted. Yeah, so it's very easy in terms of, I always call it level 2 of that game where you put the shapes in. Building a PC is basically that. But it suddenly becomes a whole different ballgame if anything does go wrong. If it turns out Like if you put it all in there nice and simple, job's done, and then you press that power button and it just goes beep, then suddenly it's way less fun to build a PC. When you get into the realms of like, oh, is one of my 4 sticks of RAM faulty? It's not a fun time anymore. But still, like, yeah, build a PC. It's good. Everyone should do that. Everything went smooth on boot up. So I had... What went wrong on my most recent one? I built a PC a couple of weeks ago, which I call it Stream Beast. I use it for my streaming when I'm playing PC games. So my main PC is gaming, and I've got a second PC for streaming, and it didn't boot up, and I had to firmware update the BIOS, and I had to update the BIOS on the motherboard without having a bootable PC. I didn't enjoy it very much. Best way to practice is PC building simulator. I don't know. I've never played it. I need to know. Gaz not my stream beast. Gaz is not my stream beast. Gaz is like a name. What's like a really kind of inept creature? I need one of those. Gaz is my stream inept creature. PC for each of my jobs. No, I've got a monster gaming PC, and I was loath to give away any of its performance to streaming, so I've got a monster streaming PC as well. Read up. Wait a minute. Beep is far from wait, there's too much. What you said is usually the problem. The main problem people run into is, motherboard BIOS updates. People generally think that it's dead on arrival, but the motherboards usually come with a dated BIOS, so it won't boot. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. BIOS needs updating before it will support the CPU that it supports. Gaz is like a flying squirrel. Don't know about that. Right, let's get back to the showcase, because there's still stuff to get through. The next one on the list, I'm going to follow through, skipping a few things and trying to pick out some like noteworthy highlights that you can tell me what you think. Next game, tell me what you think. I want to hear from you on this one. Tell me what you think. Not about Gaz being a squirrel. It's usually easy to do a BIOS update now with the USB. Is it, Wayne? Is it easy? Kinda. If you've got a USB key around, then sure. I smell some fire. Oh no, one of my PCs. That's the other thing. When you've got too many PCs and you smell fire, you don't know which one's about to explode. I can smell fire right now. Looks cool. I still think it looks kind of terrible. Problem is, there's like big fighting games coming out, and I want to, alongside all of the other things that I want to do, I want to play these fighting games online and just like see what happens. Stream terribly, lose every fight, and just like make that a fun thing to do in a community sense. But I don't want to spend loads of money on fighting games because they're not worth it anymore. Early bonfire night. I hope, AJH, I hope that it's an early bonfire night and not one of my PCs about to catch fire. Street Fighter 6, what a huge reveal. We haven't seen it, so yeah, it wasn't exactly a reveal, was it? And there wasn't anything. You're right. Why are we watching Street Fighter 6? Screw you, Street Fighter 6. You're not anything to do with anything. Moving on. So, Plucky Squire, we're done. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Is anyone interested in that kind of game? Because I kind of am, so I'm going to show it really briefly. It's not set in the world alight with its visuals or anything about it. And it's probably terrible. I played the Grand Blue Fantasy fighting game and that wasn't very good. But it's, there were other people laughing at it and I was looking at it thinking, you know, I might play that. It looks okay. I don't know. Looks okay. Yeah, got people here that are willing to try things. Cool. Good. It's quirky looking. I wouldn't say it's that quirky. It looks like a lot of Japanese games try to look. But, see, I don't know... I don't know if this is supposed to be like a big old RPG or if those other characters are supposed to be player controlled and you've got some big co-op thing on your hands. I think it's probably a story game, maybe with some character switching. I'd give it a go. Don't know if I will give it a go, like the usual time issue, but I'd give it a go. I don't know anything about the Grand Blue storyline though. What I saw of it in the fighting game was kind of shite. So that's a thing. Looks like a Switch game. Yeah, but it doesn't perform like a Switch game. Sometimes that's the key. If it was running at 20 frames per second, then it would look like a Switch game. It's built single player, but you can play co-op. The point of your highlighting, you're not like the other girls, you're quirky. What? Okay, next thing. Oh, let's have a look at Immortals of Avium. This wasn't new. This is what started off the showcase there, right? Pretty much. Does this look good or does this look terrible? I'm actually, the reason that we're showing this one, despite it not being like a massive high point of the showcase, is that I wanted to see what it looks like at higher quality than it was on stream. Because it's a game that had quite a lot of visual noise that didn't come through well in the low bitrate compressed live stream, and I couldn't tell if it was really ugly or if it just needed to be seen at a better quality. So for my own sake, I'm watching it now. It definitely looks a lot better than it did on the stream. It presents itself as kind of an Outriders servicey game, but apparently it's not. Apparently it is a distinct campaign, like single player story campaign. And despite being very magical, it essentially just plays like a first-person shooter. You just have magic instead of guns. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be terrible? I'm definitely not confident that it's going to be good. But I like colours and shit. The magic that I do in real life is barely colourful at all, so this is quite enticing in that sense. You think it looks generic as fuck? Yeah, there is that. Yeah, I can't argue, like it kind of does. But I'm a bit interested, and it's EA, so I'll have it on subscription, so I'll give it a go. It looks mid. Streams will probably make it 11 out of 10. Yes, that's definitely gonna... Godfall plus Outriders. Yeah, but it's not... like, those games were supposed to be... Both games were like loot games, right? And I don't think this is. I get that it's got that vibe about it, which is probably a bad thing, but I don't think it is a loot grind repetition kind of game. I think it is just supposed to be a story that you go through. Could be wrong though. I think that's what they said. It's part of EA Play Pro, exactly. So I'll have access to it, Replicant. I'll give it a go. I'll stream it. Everyone will love it. Do you have EA Play Pro, Replicant? Are you a subscription junkie like me? That reminds me, Dead Space Remake. I haven't played that yet. That's on the EA thing. I've got Jedi Survivor and Dead Space still to play on that subscription. You're excited for Marathon? How can you be excited for Marathon? Are you excited based on, like, familiarity with old Bungie stuff? Or are you excited based on these colourful mushrooms? You're excited because it's Bungie. Because I want to be excited about it. There was always speculation that the Marathon series was actually part of the Halo series. Like they were set in the same universe and all of this kind of stuff. Which was never like confirmed, but it was like speculated for a long time. I've never played Marathon. It's like, I think it was a Mac game, so Apple, nothing for me, thank you very much. I never played it, but it was a like sci-fi campaign as far as you know, and they're bringing back Marathon, but they've said that it's like a PvP heist game. like all of the other service ones, seem to be PvP heist games. And I actually think, so the stuff that Bungie said about it kind of alluded to a little bit more sophistication than you saw in the description for Concord and Fair Game, the other two service ones. And I wanna believe that because it is Bungie and they are a kind of premier service company, maybe there's going to be more to it. But I don't know. Yeah, extraction shooter, that's the one. Thank you, Painful Discourse. I don't want it to be an extraction shooter. I want it to be a Halo prequel. But do have a vidoc up, but you haven't watched it yet. Fair enough. Destiny, the final shape, had a trailer. Yeah, I'm going to skip over that one because it's Destiny and I don't know what's going on. Like, they're bringing back Cade 5 or whatever it's called. Everyone's favourite character. I don't know if the story makes any sense. I don't know if it's like an afterlife thing or what's going on, but no one has, as of yet, made a good AAA extraction shooter. So what's an extraction shooter? Is that like a hunt showdown where you have teams on a map and you have to try and like get some kind of treasure or objective and then escape the map to win the game? You can translate my resident Destiny nerd. Tarkov, I've never played Tarkov. I know it's huge. And COD DMZ. And what's the VR one called? Escape from something? No, that's Tarkov is the escape one. There's a game like it. Ghosts of Tabor. That's the VR one. That people say is coming along well. But what do you do in them? You just have to try and get loot and escape. Division Survival was the closest to a great one. Escape from Tarkov is wild. I know Tarkov had like a huge content creation and streaming scene for a while. You played most of them, but you bought the Redux versions of. No, I'm gonna die soon. CMP and Devil's Daughter because they're on sale. What are these words that you're saying, Purple Tree Fog? I want Devil's Daughter and copy and paste. What's copy and paste? Copy and paste and Devil's Daughter. I want them. Devil's Daughter is good. Interesting. It really smells of fire in here as well. Hyenas is an extraction shoot. Yeah, so Michibu, Hyenas, as far as I know, you have teams in that one. I don't know if it's 2 teams or if it's more than 2 teams, but you have to try and get pop culture paraphernalia and escape. So it's like supposed to be post-apocalypse and you go onto some space station and find a Sonic the Hedgehog plushie and try and escape. It plays around with Sega IP like that. I don't know if it's going to be any good or if it's not. Am I having a stroke? It doesn't smell of toast and I hope I'm not having a stroke. My concern is not for me, it is for my PCs. What is Devil's Daughter? I must know. If you're smart, they're going to make a dedicated game from the Dark Zone if done right. Ubisoft are not smart. They will wait for somebody else and then they'll try and copy. You're going to play Testament of Sherlock Holmes soon as it's your new... As soon as your new Series X comes, you're going to go through Chapter 1 and the Cthulhu one at some point. Tabor, you're saying things that don't mean anything. What's Tabor? Lift my hands above my head. That's so much effort. I'm fine. Thanks. Thank you for your concern. Do I need to lift my PC above my head now? Oh, Devil's Daughter is a Sherlock Holmes game. Okay, and Copy and Paste is a Sherlock Holmes game as well. Good. I am good, thank you. Thank you, I'm fine. Shut your face, Patrick. Next game, Alan Wake 2. Let's look at that one. Oh, the good games are here. The good games are here. Alan Wake 2, one of the only games, like large-scale games that they said is running on the PlayStation 5 in the trailer. And one of the devs quite bullishly said that they reckon it's going to be the best-looking game of 2023, which is a thing to say about your own game, but 10-foot wingspan, yes. You think Embracer Group is about to get bought out? Embracer Group I've had a fuck up this week, quite a significant one. They had a deal worth $2 billion with an unknown partner, probably Microsoft to be fair. Because wow, that's not true actually. Microsoft are obviously working with Embracer to use some of their studios for some of their games. But a partner, an unnamed partner, was supposedly tied up in a $2 billion partnership of some kind with them, which they only took on word of mouth and it fell through. So Embracer Group's stock value dropped by 40% as a consequence of this when they had to announce that actually they're making far less money than they thought they were. So if anybody is wanting to buy them, now is kind of the right time, yes. Northlight engine, although problematic, is a beautiful engine. I like Northlight. I thought Quantum Break looked really good. The stuff that it did with its timey-wimey magic, and also its real-time lighting was quite... Other engines do it now, but they didn't so much at the time. So yes, it's not necessarily the most performant engine, but it packs in lots of like interesting physics for destruction, and it does lots of real-time stuffs. That's my technical explanation of why I like it. You think the partnership that fell through was with Amazon? Could be, Mitchy Poo. Could be. I don't know like what the partnership entails and what they were supposed to do. I only mentioned Microsoft because obviously Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal are doing various things with them. But you're right, those deals are already solidified, so the one that fell through is probably another party, and it could well be Amazon. Control physics and lighting were nice. Yes, there's a user mod for Control now that improves various things along like ray tracing and stuff like that. It's supposed to be genuinely like a nice step up for that game as well, that I might take a look at some point. Oh, there's no time for these things. But yeah, as soon as I got any powers and stuff in Control, I just started wrecking bookshelves, and it was good. I liked that. What happened with Amazon? No, nothing. It's speculative. We don't know what happened with Amazon. It's what happened with Embracer Group and an unknown partner. And a $2 billion deal going off. The Tomb Raider deal. Oh, that. Oh, so yeah, that's an established one as well, isn't it? They got like 600 million for Amazon to make a Tomb Raider TV series or whatever it was. Time control would be your superpower. Fucking capital letters would be your superpower, Tony. Yelling, loud noises. You don't get to choose your superpower, it chooses you. And yours is noise. Sorry. You're worried about Soul Reaver and Thief because of Embracer. Yeah. Would include Lord of the Rings as well. Oh, Gollum. Nobody likes stealth games. That was their mistake. Why did they make a stealth game about Gollum? Stealth is shit. You can't do it. Can't do a whole game based around sneaking. Bookshelves did nothing, but they were your biggest enemy. Yeah, I see. They weren't my enemy. I shot them affectionately. They grew way too quick. Yeah, Embracer definitely grew quick. They got a lot of investment from a lot of... it was the Swedish banks and stuff they got their investment from, wasn't it? And they seemed to be doing everything right when they bought their Square Enix studios and then sold Tomb Raider for more money than it cost them to get the entire studios. Mitchie, it's just a nickname from your sister when you were kids. Fair enough. I do know you're noisy, Tony, yes. Right, next games. Ghost Runner looked good, but we're going to skip it. Has anyone played the first Ghost Runner? Did anyone enjoy that? Final Fantasy didn't look great to me. A lot of people are happy with the way that's turning out, but I'm still massively skeptical of it. But let's look at one of the big show highlights. Gollum is not precious. Unfortunately, Peter, you're not the first one with that pun. I saw it already, so I can't give you props. Bring back Saskia. Witcher 2 character that I can't remember. Does anyone like Splatoon? Yeah, Ghost Runner was supposed to be hard. It was like a speedrun game, wasn't it? It was supposed to be pretty difficult to get through. Fast-paced, deadly platforming. I didn't really touch it. Looks quite cool though. Second one looks quite cool as well. Splatoon. See, I've never played Splatoon because it's on the Switch, but I've always wanted to. Of the Nintendo games, Like, Splatoon looks way cool. No, that's not true. I did play one of them. I played the first Splatoon and didn't like the controls, which was very sad. But I liked the squid people. I would have been quite content to shoot paint with the squid people. This is obviously Square Enix's copy of it. And it's like, a lot of people were like, oh, you can't just copy Splatoon. And I fundamentally disagree, because Splatoon is only available on one shit platform. So it's ripe for being copied. Go right ahead and copy the crap out of Splatoon. Makes a lot of sense. Don't make it look like this. These aren't cool, well-designed characters. This is like, you've made it look most obviously like a shit, low-tier Splatoon knockoff. Which everybody knows that's what it is, but you've missed the target so badly. This just looks worse in every way. Dead game, dead game. PlayStation trying to compete with Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo make buckets of money. Called this spunk shooter last night. Oh, it's gonna have that name forever now. Thank you for that, Baz. Destruction All Stars 2. Wow. There will be many service games that flop and fail, but everyone loves a sticky foam party. But Splatoon is good. Like, does anyone play Splatoon? They must. It looks so good. Splatoon looks good. It's just on the wrong console. All the squid stuff and all the paint and all of that is like kind of neat. And Square Enix have just done a terrible job copying that. Played a couple of matches with your son. Emulate it. No, but it's like I don't think it's like a single player game as such. Concord isn't Starfield. Like, I get the space station vibe at the start of it, but it's a PvP weird thing. Foam Party is Splatoon, and Easy Cars, or whatever it's called, equals Hyena. Fair Game or whatever it was. Easy Cash. Fair Game. Yes. Much copying. Let's have a look at what else there was. No, it's gone wrong. What's this? It's playing something in the background. Towers of Aghasbar. This one actually looked good. It gets completely, like, forgotten about and dismissed, probably because it has a ridiculous name. Concord is a PvP game. Yes, it is. Concord. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh. What did you think of this particular game in the showcase? Because it looks like kind of neat if you like survival stuff, which I don't. 4K Zelda, yeah, people were calling it Zelda yesterday because it has gliders and stuff. It looks cool and original. I guess I need to know more about like the direction and objective of the freeform gameplay. Is it just a survival game? Or is he gliding somewhere in particular? There's quite a lot going on, like, it looks well fleshed out. And it has those things. And you glide on their back and take the little mollusk things. Bleh. Who knows? Avatar-esque, yeah, it's got that kind of vibe to it. Yeah, so there's potential there, right? Just despite having like a trailer that showed a game that looks like it's fairly far along in development, it's really hard to know what that game actually is. It just has a lot in it. Big creatures, hunting, gathering, building, but no why yet. If it has all the mechanics that they're showing, it would be cool. Survival, city buildings, gliding, combat. It could be cool. It could, Patrick. It could. Or it could just be another survival game. And it has a terrible, terrible name, yeah, so. Dragon's Dogma has your next year set, or 25, 26. Right, let's get the Dragon's Dogma trailer. Because cat trailer at the moment that's playing, don't care. We're just going to do a couple more trailers. We're going to do that one that I just said, Dragon's Dogma. I've not played Dragon's Dogma. I've heard such good things about it that it was flawed, but that it was free and aimed at some really cool stuff. You've been playing Gollum. Tell me what makes it so bad, as briefly as you can. Because obviously it's been massively slated by everyone, but what is it? What's making everyone throw up? Dragon's Dogma is a game I intend to play, by the way. I will play it before Dragon's Dogma 2 gets played. I was going to say before Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out, but I have no control over these things. So I will play it before I play the second one. That's the plan. You believe it's on PC now? What's on PC now? You tried it years ago and all you can remember is the cat people. You sure you're not thinking of Skyrim? You have faith in Capcom. Well, that's an encouraging thing. Capcom have been on fire. Dragon's Dogma, just it looked like it really walked its own path as far as open world RPGs go. So in a world of like Skyrim and Witcher and Dragon Age, Dragon's Dogma did Dragon's Dogma and did it the way that it wanted to. And there were like all kind of quirks to it. Like if you made a really small character, it really affected what that character could and couldn't do in the game. And I like that kind of thing. So not Souls-like. You got Dragon's Dogma for $5 and it was completely worth it. I think I've actually got it on 3 platforms and I've never played it. But I will. That's the plan. Visuals look a tad dated. Yeah, I mean it is dated, isn't it? It's an old game now, but it's an old game, but I'm going to play it. I've still got to play Dragon Age Inquisition as well, though. There's a lot of older games that I need to play before their sequels come out. And yeah, not Souls like you would say it's like Death Stranding, but no combat and shitter. Dragon's Dogma is like Death Stranding. No, you mean that other game, the Towers of Vagbrzugiva, whatever it was. Was a big deal Dragon's Dogma getting a sequel? Yes. Resident Evil 4 Remake is your game of the year so far, so you're going to rock with Capcom. I'm saving Resident Evil 4 Remake. I'm on a Resident Evil journey. I need to play them all in VR. And that obviously includes 4 now. Dark fantasy like Dragon Age without the great storyline. Oh, okay. Right. Next game though, so that's Dragon's Dogma. I'm looking forward to that. Let's have a look at, I'm not going to look at Assassin's Creed. It's an Assassin's Creed game. Phantom Blade Zero. There's one more after this as well, actually. Here we go. What do we think of Phantom Blade Zero? Visually, it was definitely one of the more impressive games at the showcase. Does it look like a fun game? Does it look good? Do we like it? From what I understand, it's from a Chinese developer. So probably the first game, at least, that's going to come out over here from that studio. It's got nice rain. You think it looks nice, but you're not interested. Timed exclusive. I don't know if it... Like, timed exclusive doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come to any other platforms, though. It's PlayStation and PC. But Microsoft's relationship with Chinese developers, we don't know yet, really. They've tried. They've definitely tried to make inroads over there, but I don't know if they've had any success or not. Interesting, and you want to see more. I think it looks nice. I'm just not convinced by the gameplay that I've seen. It looks like mush parry as much as you can until it's time to hit stuff. Like, the parrying's too fast to actually be considered, so it must just be mushy, mush, mush, mush. Parry, 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 parry. Just keep pressing stuff. And obviously the camera is wild for the sake of this demo, so I don't know what it'll actually be like in practice. Look, if he is never coming out. No, indeed. Yeah, not sure on this one. Like, it got a little bit of hype while it was playing, but we shall see. Maybe it'll be brilliant. Maybe it'll be brilliant. Pow! Black Myth Wukong and others coming. You're not sure yet what is going to set it apart. It just looks very narrow and heavily scripted at the moment, with lots of mushing. But that's like, that works well for a trailer, so who knows what the rest of it is like. Mush, mush, mush. And the camera is like, it doesn't look like a playable camera. Looks like a headache waiting to happen. Redemption, the show was awful. If Xbox is worse, then they should just close down. Wow. Fair enough. If Dark Meth Wukong hasn't come out, you have no faith that this will as well. That's the other thing. There is always that chance that they won't come out, but it's made it like it's an official Sony showcase. It should come out, although they had abandoned at one of their showcases, didn't they? And that was Sony promoted. Did I see the reply to my tweet? No. What tweet? Me? I haven't been on Twitter for like a month. I only went on there now because you'd made a neat video. I wasn't going to tell anybody that the show was going live, like outside of actually being on YouTube. But you put so much effort in that I went onto Twitter. Someone helpfully informed me that the games are multi-platform actually. Didn't I say that in the tweet? I'm sure I said that in the tweet. Yes, the showcase definitely had a lot of multi-platform games. Very much so. No, I had no idea. Definitely didn't literally say it, yeah. Okay. Okay, one of those. I'm glad I went onto Twitter. Let's look at the big one for the showcase. Or what should have been the big one. I have some sympathy over the big one. I'm not sure it said Konami when they actually showed it on the stream. I think they left it as a bit of a mystery. This trailer, by the way, is bullshit. Like, why is there an ant? What are we doing here? And at the end of it, when Snake appears, why doesn't he join in with the animal fight and like bite whichever lizard was winning? That would have been a good trailer. Problem with this is it's all CGI. It's complete nonsense animal trailer. And it obviously could have been like a really big moment in the showcase for people that had no idea that Metal Gear Solid might be coming back. If this had been the first showing since Metal Gear Solid 5 and everyone thought the series was dead and they put this nonsense trailer together and everyone was watching this going, what's this? What's this? It's a bird. It's an ant. Oh, there's a lizard. There's an anaconda. Oh, I've got no idea. And I don't care because it's Metal Gear Solid, but it could have been such a big moment for them. But when you go into this trailer with an expectation that Metal Gear Solid is already at this show, it's like, this is a shit trailer. Such a difference. Why? Why doesn't he appear and bite the snake? That would have been funny. No, he's just like... Oh, big moment. Whoa, can you believe it? Yeah, everyone knew it was going to be there. Ruined. Who's looking forwards to this? Or is it a travesty that they dare to remake the game without Kojima on board? Knowing what's coming can take a lot out of like a lot of showcases, but that whole trailer and the whole vibe of it completely destroyed by being leaked. Like, and considering that it probably would have been like the high point of Sony's show, even though it's coming to every platform, right? For people watching looking for exciting announcements, that one probably would have set the world on fire a little bit. Terrible trailer, especially when you already knew Metal Gear Solid existed. I don't know who leaked it first or where it came from. Rumors have been going around. It was trying to be way too clever. Virtuous is doing the remake. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah. It's stealth, so you're out. You may watch a Let's Play to see the story. Tom, I'm also not going to play it. Don't care about stealth games. Don't enjoy them. They needed a high point and they didn't have one. That's true, Peter. There were no massive standouts from it. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 was there. I'm not even going to show Spider-Man 2. Am I going to show Spider-Man 2? No. Let's have a look at the device. That's what we haven't spoken about yet. We're going to wrap up soon. Oh, Helldivers as well. Should we look at Helldivers? No, let's look at the device. Where's that? Device. Helldivers, by the way. I'm not going to put it on right now, but if you look at the 4K trailer, it looks a lot better than it did in live stream. It has some potential as a co-op game. I can't find the accessories thing. It's hidden from the list because it's not a game. Accessories sneak peek. Here we go. So, what we're buying, everyone. You know what's coming. You've seen these already. This isn't the live reveal. You've got this device. It's a DualSense with a screen whacked in the middle. You get your haptic feedback, so it's the only remote device that will give you resistant triggers and the feel of rain in your hand or whatever they go for. But it is remote play only. It is a PlayStation 5 accessory. You have to have a PlayStation 5 in your home and you play the games by streaming it from your PlayStation 5 and not from the cloud. And then there is these wireless earbuds that are wireless earbuds that do sound stuff. Looks awful. So they even used the codename still, the Q whatever it is. Pointless and dead on arrival. So it's you know my stance on remote devices anyway. They're very circumstantial in the first place. And this one just has particularly limited circumstances where it's useful, right? Spec-wise, it's got a 1080p screen, 8-inch 1080p screen, but it's just an LCD screen. They call it no, it wasn't them, it was Jeff Keighley that called it vibrant, which is how you know that he's doing marketing spiel. It's got a vibrant 1080p LCD screen. That's marketing line, copy and paste. Yeah, vomit. But yeah, cheap screen from the sounds of things. Well, this is what I'm getting at with the screen. The thing is, so a DualSense is already, I think they're 70 quid, and the DualSense Edge is 210 quid. So this is going to be probably 250. They must be aiming, they're at least aiming to keep the costs down. It doesn't do anything. So 250 quid is my guess, and even then I don't think it's a good price. Yeah, in fact, no, I'm going to go more like that, Tom. My guess is more like 300. 250 is what they should be aiming for with the aggressively cheap parts. I think it will probably be 300 to 350 when it comes out. And it's not worth that. Just buy a nice tablet and you can do the same and more. Yeah, I don't think you can get the haptics, which is a nice touch. But basically that device is almost useless. Remote play is not a good way to play games outside of your house, really. Within house, if you're in an environment where you're sharing the screen that your PlayStation 5 is attached to, it might have some use. It just seems so limited. When you're out and about is the only time you don't have a reliable connection. So cloud streaming devices and remote streaming devices, so limited in use. It's so just relying on the fact that it's an actual official PlayStation product in the hope that people buy it. Just get a Steam Deck. I'm gonna continue to get neither. I don't care for small screen gaming, really. You don't like PlayStation or gas, so why do I even talk about the platform? John, that's wild. Why do you think I don't like PlayStation? I literally just said today that I think my favourite game of this generation, if you work in generations, is probably Horizon Forbidden West. I also really liked Demon's Souls. I really liked Ratchet & Clank. Less keen on God of War Ragnarok. Got a PlayStation VR 2. Why do you think that I don't like PlayStation? Gaz is very much an Xbox head. I like everything except Nintendo, and I would like Nintendo if they gave me a quality big screen device. I'm not going to argue the Gaz part. No, that's fair enough. Like, how could anyone put up with Gaz? I don't know. I should get knighted and given. What do you have to do to become a saint? Do you have to die to become a saint? Can you be a living saint? Like, I should get that. But I do want you to answer that, John, if you're still there. Like, why do you think that I don't like PlayStation? What gives you that impression? Same with the earbuds being sold because they're PlayStation and they can up the price for average buds. You can get cheaper elsewhere. So the earbuds, the only thing that tempts me about the earbuds is I have had wireless earbuds that claim the same, like low latency Bluetooth, and they weren't like that good. And like I'm wearing wires at the moment. I quite like to have earbuds for this kind of scenario, or for Go Live, when a big headset just looks a bit silly. So the earbuds are a little bit tempting, but again, most likely they'll be too expensive. I think John probably did just drop in to accuse me of disliking PlayStation and then leave, but I don't understand people. Like, I swear, I'm not one of them. I'm not a person. None of you are either. You're all like above that level. I don't get how there are so many people like that though. How they function on this planet. But they do, and they share it with me, and I'm one of them. Gross. Yes, Luke, it was a shit drive-by. I don't know. I like Xbox as well. Does that make me a criminal? Maybe. Tried to bait. God Emperor Sofa King, you dislike PlayStation, but you still play their games. So, like, I don't like either company. I don't trust Microsoft and I don't trust Sony. That's Luke Steele, the brilliant mergers and acquisitions lawyer, by the way, that was the only person worth listening to on all of the APK stuff. Thoroughly nice chap, so. Ain't Chicago drive-bys. Right. Tom, you still wear wired for the same reason. You're kind of an audiophile though, so wired makes sense in your price range. So these are the ones that I've got are really good earbuds. I'm not an audiophile, but I can't even remember what they're called. It's like a Chinese company. It's like 4 letters in the name. I think it begins with M, but they're really good earbuds. I'm a gentleman, a scholar. You don't know about a saint. Because of the stealth slander. No saints enjoy stealth gameplay. Nobody enjoys stealth gameplay, as evidenced by the reviews for Lord of the Rings Gollum. They did everything right, but they made a game that was stealth-centric, so sitting at 38. Peter, you don't dislike PlayStation, but to be fair, you do not like Sony. Does that make you a crim? It does not make you a crim. Like, Sony have such a sordid history, and not just Sony but PlayStation as well. Like, they have a sordid history. So do Microsoft. Don't trust any of them, but I like games and they're giving me games. Like, I like Meta. What are you, Facebook and Meta? Like, bastard company, but they're giving me virtual reality, so we can get along for the time being. That's my relationship with Sony, Microsoft, Meta, and anybody else that makes games. I'll like them while they're giving me good stuff, but I don't trust any of them. Yes, Tony. There, if you were to look up like really good earbuds, you'd find a 4-letter one made in China, and you go, "Oh, that's the Acer recommended," and you'd go and buy them because I'm an influencer. Apple, so Patrick, Apple is an interesting one because I really dislike Apple as a company, always have, and as with everyone else, I'll forgive them instantly if they give me good virtual reality. Only Valve hasn't really done anything cringe, and even Valve are not infallible. Like, that 30% that they take is not small. Epic are also definitely trying to throw their weight around and bully people, but they do have a point that Steam is quite expensive for people to publish to. You still buy Audio-Technica, Sennheiser, and other actual audio-centric companies over anyone else. So I don't have any more. I had some Sennheiser open headphones that were very good. I had some Audio Technica ones as well at some point, by coincidence. Not an expensive set, but had some. But just for earbuds, these are genuinely good. It's no longer 30% for Steam. Oh, that's good. And you can't hate on Valve, because Valve do so much right in the PC space in terms of like being an open platform and supporting games properly and technologies properly. Like all of their OpenXR for VR stuff, and the fact that they make everything work everywhere. You can play Half-Life Alyx on any headset you want. It doesn't need to be Valve's own. Bose and Shure are good also. I know Shure are good for microphones. I didn't know they're good for listening. I know Bose are good for speakers, but again, I didn't know headphones wise. I don't have brilliant ears. Like, I can't pick up the subtleties of high-res audio. I want it to be loud and well balanced, and I want to be able to hear where people are so that I can shoot them before they shoot me. Do I use earbuds for gaming? Not typically, Replicant. I've got some headset that I've been using lately. John's still here. I'm a fake neutral. That's the difference. Gaz doesn't hide it, and the chat is full of Xbox. John, as a fake neutral then, what am I faking? What is it that I do like? There's a correct answer. And it begins with V. It's fun bait. Like, I'm impervious because I genuinely just like everything. So I can take that kind of bait and smile at it. It's funny to me. What were the headphones? Oh yeah, Luke had his side profile, like really big, round, open ones, wasn't it? A fake Vector expert. Sennheiser is the best. So I've been looking, this isn't supposed to be a big audio discussion, it's supposed to be all PlayStation stuff, but I've been looking at wireless microphones, or specifically like lav mics, because I've got a decent like audio setup for this kind of environment, but I really want to get a good quality microphone setup for when I'm doing the VR stuff. When I'm running on my treadmill, I want that to sound like this. And that's a difficult thing because it's very expensive to get good wireless microphones like that. Best place to go is Drop. Don't need to be imported, but some of the deals that you can get are on there. And Audi's, I've heard good things about their stuff as well. Oh, that's what you were wearing. Is that the not the magnetic ones, the weird, I can't remember what they're called. All right, before we go on to there was one more trailer, wasn't there? No, there wasn't. I've lost the PlayStation Showcase. Before we go on to the questions at the end and comments and not riddles, are there any other things from the PlayStation Showcase or from the week's news, topics in general? Thank you, Luke. Planar, that's the ones that I was getting at. Are there any other things that people want to talk about before we close off? 58x Jubilee on Drop are a steal. Is Drop a website? John didn't need to put the accusations in the Q&A box because I'm already happy to address them. Wait, you're thinking? Don't think too hard. Drop is a website. Okay, I might look into that because, like I say, I need some stuff. Specifically, I don't need stuff for me. I need stuff for you. I need to improve the quality of my streams. No ABK talk, Replicant. Microsoft has filed the appeal, and like, what's the shit that's going around? Like, conflict of interest. No, we're not talking about any of that bollocks. Can't promise that we won't have to talk about it on Saturday. Like, Gaz loves that kind of stuff, so it'll probably come up. But for me, nah, you're alright. Persona remake. So that's there's lots of Persona rumors going around. The current ones, in fact, one of them's outdated now. So they were supposed to have Persona 3 remake being announced at the Xbox Showcase in a couple of weeks, and Persona 6 was supposed to be announced at the PlayStation Showcase yesterday. That one obviously didn't happen. And there's There's another spin-off Persona 5 game around as well. Florian was on fire on Boom Show earlier. On fire like ranting like a loony, or... Florian gets 0 points here, I'm afraid. 0 points, 0 credibility. Just... People need to understand what his agenda is, because I don't think he's that interested in Call of Duty. Literally on fire. That, yeah, well, I wouldn't wish literally being on fire on anyone, but he does need to be quiet. Peter, there was nothing that you were jealous of, and it appeared most of it what you'll have access to anyway. Genuinely, if you were a pony, you would not be happy. If you're like, people that are a pony or an expert are never happy. They can't be. It's impossible. That's not true. Gaz was massively happy with the PlayStation showcase, wasn't he? We all saw and heard him. So I guess there's happiness to be found, regardless of how extreme you are. I think, like... I don't know. It wasn't a brilliant showcase. Yeah, looking through today, trying to pick out highlights, there were quite a lot of games there that I'm kind of interested in. So extreme reactions are always like beyond me. I'm not that emotional. Yeah, that was the like the talk about ABK on Go Live with Luke. Not the Saturday just gone, but the one before. Or was it the one just gone? See, I told you earlier, I can't remember. There's yesterday. Anything less recent than yesterday is a massive blur to me. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before that Luke was there, but it was a good show. No, Factions 2. Game is missing in action. Factions 2 is definitely the biggest omission. Like, that's been in the works for a long time. It was supposed to be part of The Last of Us Part 2. So for that to still not have anything they could show in this showcase is pretty wild. Definitely not encouraging. Showcase was good if you like games. Well, that's what I mean. There were quite a lot of games. I wish that I was more excited about Final Fantasy 16. That being like one of the nearest games there. But there was quite a lot there. It didn't have... Like, I expected more from Sony's first party because, like I said before the show, Sony used to dream big and tell you things before they should. They used to go right into like distant future of their latest dreams and IPs and announcements, and then you'd have to sit on that announcement for like 3 to 5 years before you actually had it to play. And I didn't like that about them, but I still went into the showcase kind of expecting that that's what it would be, that they'd be back on that kind of form, and they weren't. It was like much more near term, which is all right. There's no shortage of games. Like, you look around general discourse for the year so far, and it is just people saying that there is too much to play at the moment. There's so many good games coming out. Like, this is a banging year for games. There's so much to play, and that's still how it is. There's just loads of stuff to play. So as a game show, you thought it was full of really good stuff. As a showcase, which by connotation suggests a big first party showcase, it was disappointing. Yeah, that's fair, Luke. Like, it was just some games. I'm not unhappy. I like games. I'll play a bunch of those. But yeah, Sony's first party, given that it's been their biggest like distinction between Sony and Xbox has been that their first party have been pumping out games and Xboxes haven't. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame that they were quiet, right? You're very skeptical of Final Fantasy 16. I wish that I wasn't. I would really like to want Final Fantasy 16 a lot. And a couple of the trailers, like particularly the trailer from the Game Awards in December last year, was a really good trailer. It made me think maybe I'm going to like this game. But the more they delve into the gameplay, the less enthusiastic I am. What does what even mean? I don't know. Oh, John's here. If Final Fantasy was an Xbox, you're sure I would play it? Fake neutral. John, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to play Final Fantasy. I've said before, like, Final Fantasy games have brilliant music. I'm going to play it, and even if the game is terrible, I'll at least get a good audio experience. But I like Final Fantasy 7. I like turn-based Final Fantasy. I like the Final Fantasy 7 remake. That's fantastic. and it's a fluke. I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy 16 reminds me more of Forspoken and Final Fantasy 15, which I haven't played Forspoken yet, actually. Got it installed. Forspoken had a 105 gigabyte patch on my PC. 105 gigabyte patch that I've halfway downloaded. Piss take that is. But Final Fantasy 15, like, that upset me as Final Fantasy games go. And that's why I don't have much faith in 16. Final Fantasy May Cry Ragnarok, yeah. There's parts of the trailer that are really, like, cool. And there's parts of it that are like, why is it a dragon-based beat-em-up now? I don't know. We'll see. No Bloodborne. Yeah, there were lots of rumours around Bloodborne. How many points do games lose for being on PlayStation for me? All of them, John. If it's on PlayStation, it's like you have to put it in a console that smells. If I have to touch that console and get shit on my fingers from a PlayStation, then probably minus 10 points by default. Ugh. Don't clip that, because I'm obviously being facetious. Like, you give Florian your law degree for a Bloodborne PC port. Yeah, he would take it. He's already pretending that he's got all of the credentials. Yeah. Bloodborne's a weird one though, because everyone's still waiting for the PlayStation 4 Pro port. Like, there's some reason that Sony can't give that to us. PlayStations are stinky. You shouldn't touch them. The haptics will make you blind or something. I'll be waiting for a while. The only hope is Mistwalker. I wish that Mistwalker were a hope, but Mistwalker are like a mobile studio now, right? They did Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, and then they disappeared into Apple Arcade and stuff like that. You like the Final Fantasy film, if that counts. I could do lots of talk just on Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy 7 is the reason that I got the PlayStation in the first place, and I loved that game very much. And I didn't love Final Fantasy 8 as much, but I reckon if I went back to it, I probably would like it a lot. In fact, I got it installed on my PlayStation, my stinky PlayStation, right now. I've got Final Fantasy, whatever I just said, Final Fantasy 8 HD, whatever it's called, is installed, ready to play. Because I'm so sure that I would like it more if I go back to it, but it didn't stand up. It didn't hold a candle to 7 for me. 9 was quite good. 10 was good. 11 was too grindy. It's the online one. Is that right? No, am I getting 11 and 12 confused? No. Yeah, 11 was online. 12 was the one that I didn't play. We've been through this a few times, though. That's fine. I'm not going to go over it again for John's sake, because I probably wouldn't be able to keep up anyway, so... Mistwalker did a really good RPG on Apple Arcade called Fantasian. Yes, Luke, I saw... So Fantasian is the one that... I loathe that it's on Apple Arcade, because it looked good. It looked like a game I would actually play, but I don't like Apple. I don't have an Apple phone, and I don't typically play phone games anyway, so... I would like Mistwalker and what's his face? Sakaguchi? Can't remember. I would like him to come back and make big scale games for me, but I would really, really like a Lost Odyssey remake in the vein of Final Fantasy VII Remake. That would be cool. The SSD will give you night terrors. Yeah, too fast. Who would use an SSD as fast as that? It's no good. What about the first one? I don't know, I'm lost. What about the first what? I might play Lost Odyssey again soon. I've got Lost Odyssey installed as well. Good game. Good game. Lots of reading, but very good game. Blue Dragon was less loved by me. It was like quite good, but I keep it in the same vein as Skies of Arcadia, which some people love. And Skies of Arcadia did some really brilliant things, but it also told too simplistic an overarching story. So Blue Dragon and Skies of Arcadia had like style, but not substance for me. Lost Odyssey had both. It had style and substance and was brilliant. Why does it hurt for being called fake neutral? Just what the fuck is a fake neutral, you weird little turd? Pixel Slapper, leave Skies of Arcadia out of this. I'm a Dreamcast like nerd. I really like the Dreamcast and I really like Skies of Arcadia, but gather 6 gemstones to defeat evil or whatever was a little bit weak. Flying boats were cool. You'll always remember the CG transition to gameplay at the start of Lost Odyssey. Still impressive even now. Yeah, and it had like a really unique high fantasy style with the weird pleated armor that they all wore. I don't know, like Lost Odyssey was just a good game. A lot of reading though, and a weird difficulty spike near the start with some weird griffin boss. Blue Dragon lacked vision, like a blue dragon, and yeah. Insults won't hide what you are. Oh, poor John. Poor John. You think that he's offended that I'm being reasonable about stuff because it makes him seem unreasonable and he doesn't like that. Maybe I will never understand. I will never understand what he's getting at, and I'm okay with that. Pinter's Quest was the best VMU game besides the Chow Garden. I'm ashamed of myself for playing with the Chow Garden. VMUs were a terrible idea. Very expensive memory cards. Good times, but terrible idea. Chrono Trigger remake would be nice. Yeah, Chrono Trigger is an RPG that I've missed out on. Missed out on very much. Your favourite JRPG franchise is Dragon Quest. Replicant, the first... I think I played a really old Dragon Quest, but don't remember much of it at all. No, I'm confusing it with Breath of Fire. I played Dragon Quest 11 when it was on Game Pass, and I got like 10 hours in or something. Did some of the puff, very disappointing. And didn't get back to it. I kind of intended to do it. I kind of intended to play it some more. It's supposed to be a good JRPG, but something about it just didn't quite get me to return. It's not on Game Pass anymore, but I think it is still on PlayStation Plus. But it's Dragon Quest 11S, and I'm not sure. I can't remember what the S means. I thought that the S was the dumbed down version for the Switch, but maybe it's not. You dislike Dragon Quest, it feels like your first JRPG. Fair enough. Panzer Dragoon Saga is lost to time. You preferred it to Final Fantasy VII back then. Panzer Dragoon Saga stands as one of my all-time favourite ever games. And I don't know how much of it is nostalgia and how much of it is that game was just freaking awesome. I've still got Panzer Dragoon Saga. I tried to play it on stream. It's a little bit harsh on the eyes now, so didn't get through it, but I would love to get more of Panzer Dragoon Saga. And I like Shining Force 3 a lot as well, as my more obscure Japanese RPGs of the past. Paying for Discourse, didn't realise that. Makes even more sense. You thought because JS co-produced it with From that PlayStation had lost the only devs that knew what made Bloodborne tick. Wait a minute, I've missed something on the Bloodborne. My theory has always been that they lost access to the source code. Nope, I've lost some conversation up there. Which is fine. So, shall we... Oh, just ignore John, it's fine. He can be here or he cannot be, that's fine. He can even hit the dislike button if I'm this fake neutral that's upset him so much. Not a problem. Let's do the questions. Shining and the Holy Ark is the goal. I really need to play that. I loved Shining Force 3 so much. I played Shining Wisdom, which was not a good thing. I still never played Shining the Holy Ark. I think it is the oldest game on my backlog. So. Japan studio closing, yes. Oh, as in, that's why Sony can't touch Bloodborne. I don't know, you think someone would still be able to recover it. Right. His first question is from Tony. Where do babies come from? John, where did you come from? We'll wait for an answer to that question and we'll move on to the next one. Next question, please. VR apart, no offense. No offense taken, Peter. You know I don't mind when other people dislike VR. What mark out of 10 would I give the Sony show? For you, it was a 4.5. Sadly, you think the competition might be laughing. They'd better not laugh too long. Well, I don't normally score shows. It doesn't mean that much. I always say that the showcases themselves are ultimately not that important relative to what you actually get in your hands to play. So people are fickle and showcases will fade away before too long. This one will definitely fade away. It wasn't particularly memorable. Like I said, I've got some sympathy that Metal Gear wasn't a big reveal for them. But it wasn't a mind-blowing show, was it? It didn't deliver what people hoped it would be delivering. The rumours and expectations were up here and the show was down here somewhere. So like, we'll go 5 if you want a number, but please don't try and hold me to these numbers when subsequent showcases come down. There will be no consistency. Like, if I give a different show a 6, it doesn't mean that it was better than this show. It means that I can't remember why I rated a thing. Does that make sense? Like, it's just a feeling in the moment. And part of it is influenced by the general, like, negativity around Twitter and all the rest of it. Like, it's hard to ignore the fact that Sony fans didn't like this show. So it can't be a good one, right? To you, God Empress African, this show was on the level of 2013 Xbox E3. Was that not good? So 2013 must have been the TV reveal, where I thought E3 was quite decent, wasn't it? Or was that the year before? I don't keep track of dates and years. TV wasn't E3 though, right? It was a couple of months before E3. And then E3, like they said at the TV reveal that like the games is coming at E3, and I thought that E3 was probably quite good because the Xbox One launched with quite good games actually, really. Guys like the show for his console, where yes he did, Replicant, yes he did. I want to say though, Peter, for me obviously the VR part was it's like a non-trivial part. It's one of the main things that I was looking forward to from the show. So maybe I should give it a slightly higher score based on the fact that actually there was some decent VR stuff in there. They didn't answer the question that I was asking, which is I really wanted to see like a big first party Sony game be a hybrid game. So a big first party game be available in Pancake and VR. But the big first party games just weren't there, so there wasn't really an opportunity for that question to be answered, which is a shame. They legit showed a movie trailer. Yes, they did show a movie trailer, and that is not good. It is not good. Next question, please. I need to sneeze, but I can't. What about the rest of you, though? So while we're throwing numbers out there, as I was asked for a number, give me your scores out of 10 for the PlayStation Showcase. And I will get to this next question. Right. Peter, we all have different tastes in games, but how much are these affected by time? Gaming is now 4 decades old and trends have altered with taste and technology. Do I see any future trends? Well, it's very hard to see outside your own perspective. Like in all things, it's very hard to step outside your own personal viewpoint and see what other people think and why. And I look at like my kids, who are obviously younger than me, and they have very different tastes to me. And unfortunately, they're caught in those dark patterns. So I don't see things getting better, if that makes a sense in terms of future trends. Like at some point, all that will be left is Roblox. One guy on Twitter thought that it was a game, the Gran Turismo movie trailer. Oh dear. So we're seeing lots of numbers here that are... There's a 6.8 from Simple Jack. You gave the show good. What did you like about it, Simple Jack? What was like the highlight in there for you? I know you said before that you generally are there in the background not saying much, but just that question I want to ask. Tony gives it a minus 10 out of 10. HB3, Jeremy Brown 3.5. So you can't escape sentiment from other people. So it's hard not to qualify the show based on like what other people are saying about it. But Patrick, it'll get worse. Your son gets $10 a week for allowance and spends every penny every week on microtransactions. My youngest would definitely do that if he was allowed. So we used to have a rule where he just wasn't allowed to spend any of it on microtransactions at all. And I softened a little bit, and he has like a portion of his allowance that he's allowed on a monthly basis that he's allowed to go and spend, and he will always spend it on shite. It's weird though, like the audience that buy games, like that grew up on the Xbox 360, for example, most of that audience are still around and still have money. So really, if it was profitable then, like keep making games for us. And then you got the Saints Row example, where they had a game that had an audience, was moderately successful enough to get a fourth or a fifth in the series, and they went, no, let's target like a bigger, younger audience, and totally shit the bed. Don't shit the bed. Make games for the audience that likes your games. We're still real people with, well, not loads of money, but you know, a little bit of money. We can buy games. And obviously you've got like a massive change in how games are accessed. That's also going to impact the industry in unseen ways. I don't know if the big games, like the ones that I was saying earlier, like Horizon and Witcher and Ghost of Tsushima, like these really, really big games, I don't know for sure that those exist in the future, and I hope that they do. Hope that they do. Simple Jack, you liked the marathon announcement and Phantom Blade Zero, so I try and be optimistic about Marathon. I wish it was like a Marathon remake so that I could experience what Marathon was, rather than it's a resurrected name but we're turning it into a weird multiplayer extraction thing. So I don't know. Bungie, like, they talk about it with a bit of sophistication in terms of how they, like, what it is and how they see things playing out. That makes me think maybe it'll turn out to be something special, but it's hard to say. Did I ever bring up Alan Wake 2 being digital only? I didn't, Patrick, but we can. We've got time for that. So Alan Wake 2 is being published by Epic, but it's coming out on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And there is no physical release on any of those platforms. Stated reason for it is that if they do a digital version, sorry, if they do a physical version, then they'd need to increase the price. So to keep the price down, it's going to be 50 quid or $50 even on PC, and it's going to be 60 on PlayStation and Xbox with no physical version. Which, yeah, Epic and their publishing, put that to one side for a second. I don't see why they couldn't do a physical version and still keep the digital price down. I get that not many people buy the physical one. Physical games should still exist and they should cost more than digital games. I get that we're not likely to get digital game prices come down in our favour to make that equation work, but it is well past time to drop that parity. Said that many times, like, they should be well disconnected. Digital prices and physical prices should not be fixed to each other in the way that they are. Tom, she's been looking pissed that I'm still at this table for the entire 2 hours that the show has been running. And it's not even her table. The table came from Horizon. Painful Discourse, thank you again for stopping by and talking and sticking through. The show is just like wrapping up, so you haven't missed anything. Don't know, we'll catch you another time. A new first world problems, kids being monetized on unapproved games, not taking the piss. Thankfully yours grew up on cartridges. Yeah, there's challenges around it, like trying to educate them in why it's a bad idea to spend money on Robux and how that has no value to them. They don't even understand the concept, so it's not right that these things are sold to them. But she looks more pissed now. I wish I had a really long loop where she did just get gradually more angry, but I don't. You're going to prevail to the end, right? Let's speed through for painful discourse's sake. We don't want to leave him too exhausted. Right, next question, please. Physical has no game in it, so well, yeah, the physical editions that they sell should be actual physical editions with a game. That is true. Still smells of fire. Still smells of fire. Have I done the one on the screen? Yes. Ish. Like, it's quite a potentially broad, deep question, that one. So I haven't gone into it in any great depth. But yes, we'll do the next one. No, I need to. My voice is going to go anyway, so we'll get through them. Well, I didn't, like, go psychic and identify new trends and things, but we talked about it a bit. Right, let me see if I can move the questions on myself. Nope, that's not where it is. Green Goblin. Oh, we didn't talk about Spider-Man, did we? I skipped that. Who's looking forward to Spider-Man 2? I sure am. Even though it has a triangle button you need to press. I liked this first... I liked Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales a lot. And they say they've done a lot of retooling on the side quests, which was like the biggest criticism of those games. So there's even hope that the side content will be better. Let's piss everyone out, thanks. Isla. Good. Good. As planned. It might be the larger considering watching her loop. You've grown to read her face a little too much. Yes. The lager consumed. I see. Lager doesn't make you see other people as angry. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Oh, it probably does. Yeah, fair point. You'll play it when it comes to PC one day. Spider-Man 2. Well, it might be 2 or 3 years, but single player games don't get worse over time, right? So that's fine. You hope you still need to catch pigeons in Spidey 2. Yeah, and do the stupid like races and challenges, get your 3 stars and all the different things. Insomniac aren't good at side content. Sunset Overdrive had bad side content as well. Your Gaz with regards to Spider-Man, like his criticisms weren't necessarily unfair. The sequence that they showed in the trailer is very much like super scripted. Like he was talking about having to press triangle on the scene with the boats, and yeah, those sections aren't peak Spider-Man. Like that's not where the game is at its best. But they show fairly well for a trailer. But the way that he was expressing his criticism was like, you have to press triangle. Yep. Yep, you do press buttons in these modern games. So that was just good fun. Spider-Man 2 looks mid. You're not a Marvel fan. Oh, this, like, I'm not a comic fan. I've not really read any of the Marvel comics, but the first Spider-Man game, the 2018 game, I consider the best Spider-Man movie. And a good game to boot. So very much like it. For no reason, look. We're reading it. Simple Jack, you're late to the stream. Were there any games of interest to me from the PlayStation Showcase? I can't start the stream again, Simple Jack. I can't. Many of the VR games are of interest to me. Resident Evil 4, definitely. Arizona Sunshine 2, despite being a CGI trailer, very much looking forward to it. Synapse, very much looking forward to it. Crossfire, not so sure. We'll see, but hopefully. In terms of pancake games, the one that you mentioned, the Phantom Blade one, I'm not sold on that yet. But it looks pretty, so we'll see. John's still here. I was disappointed with all of the CGI teaser trailers for multiplayer games. Those, particularly Haven's and that Concord one. So Firewalk and Haven, their CGI trailers were not for me. Someone remind me, what games did I like? We just talked about it for the last 2 hours and I've already forgotten. Resident Evil 4 looked really good for VR. Yes, it did. Resident Evil 8 looks really good in VR as well, though. PlayStation VR 2 is very, very good for hybrid games. That's why I'm so keen for Sony to show me that they're going to be doing that themselves as well. Like, everything about that device is so well executed in terms of being able to take a pancake game and deliver it at decent fidelity in virtual reality. So I need Sony to show me that they're going to do that. And they didn't. No, Isla, don't try and convince him. It's fine. It's fine. Tony, you only play Spider-Man Remaster. Is the new model Peter Parker better? No, I've not played. I'm going to go back and play that one on the PC. I played it on the PlayStation. I played Spider-Man 2018. I played on the PlayStation 4 Pro or whatever when it was fresh. And I played Miles Morales on the PlayStation 5. I haven't been able to bring myself to go back to the Spider-Man Remaster though, because I don't like the new face. Like, the old face really suited him. And the new one is younger. Like, looks more like what's his face from the films. And I'm going to have to play it because he's obviously going to be in Spider-Man 2. So I'm going to reacquaint myself with Spider-Man, probably the PC version, and get used to the new actor. But he's not aged correctly. Tom Holland, yeah, that fella. The replacement Peter is not the correct age for the story, so not to me anyway. But maybe I'll adjust when I actually go back and play it again. You're waiting for the Miles Morales remaster before you play it on your 4080. Miles Morales was already PlayStation 5 ready at launch. You're not going to get a remaster of that soon. Cat Quest did not come up in conversation particularly. Can't say that was a massive highlight. What else though? I definitely mentioned some stuff that looked good. I'm just obsessed with VR, so I can't help it. Can't help it. This says from Acer. Played Whipper asked from Acer. Played Whipper, I don't understand the question. / statement. What does it mean? Cat Quest might be a decent game, it just didn't belong at a showcase. The Last of Us Part 2 PC port. Sad face, vomit, vomit, vomit. Why does that make you so sad? Last of Us Part 2 is like a good game, it's just not a good Last of Us sequel. Painful Discourse said Boobroom showcase when? No, that'll ruin the channel lore. There can be no showcase of that. Big eyes and huge thighs. What's happening? What's happening? How do you know you've got a big channel? You get people like John. I've not got a big channel, Tony. You can see the numbers. All the Xbox keep attacking you. It won't give the Xbox good games. Who are you talking about, John? Is Isla an Xbox? Is that where we're going now? Because that's like, we can have that as lore written. It's canon now. You've got a lot to live up to now, Isla. You're gonna have to play the Xbox for the rest of your days. How did John's crack pipe get blocked from Baz Cryptkeeper? Baz. I don't know. I'm not sure what it's blocked. I'm not sure. I'm assuming the crack's been replaced with something even more insidious. Painful Discourse. Summer Game Fest will step it up and really replace E3. I'm not a fan of Summer Game Fest conceptually and the way they've got to where they are, but E3 is gone, so Summer Game Fest has to, right? It's just like even more advertising heavy. I don't like the way that they still try and claim ownership of things that they don't own. But like, I credit them for the actual 3-hour showcase. They've got some good relationships. They're going to have some big announcements, and it's going to replace E3 because E3 is dead. So I don't know, maybe Game on Daily will put something on, right? Too much legs? My legs aren't on stream right now, are they? No, they're not. They were for the last VR stream when I was doing Asgard's Wrath. No, nobody's attacking John here. Nobody cares. I think I called him a turd earlier, but only because he's being a turd, which is like fair commentary, right? Okay, next question. Oh, what Apple? Oh, so Mitchy Poo, that's a good reminder for me actually. Will Apple show any new games when they unveil their VR AR headset? Yes, but more importantly, next week on Thursday is the Meta VR Games Showcase, which I approach with trepidation because I don't like Meta's move to standalone VR, but it is a VR game showcase. It is on Thursday. I can't remember exactly what time, but Q&A so next Thursday will probably coincide with that. It will probably be a live react to the Meta Games Showcase, and it is specifically a VR Games Showcase, so of course I have to watch it and cover it. I will announce timing and whatever when I can remember when it is, but next Thursday, and I'm not saying I won't cover the usual kind of topics as well. You know, I've got to bash PlayStation a little bit, make sure I'm giving Sony the kicks, because apparently that's what I do. And I've got to... I don't know, it's the other way around. Does the fake neutral have to give props to everyone? I'm going to have to give props to everyone. I'll cover everything. Thursday. And Apple's VR AR headset, like... I can't... I wish I could extend to the $3,000 rumored price tag to bring Apple into the fold. But I would just watch that one as a bystander, I think. An interested spectator. Tony, why do I always cover my thighs? Because, Tony, my camera goes down to this height. No thighs available. I could move the camera. Am I going to play Planet of Lana? Peter, nobody told me if I should or not. This is probably not true because I asked more than once and people probably did tell me, but I missed the answers. I would like to know if Planet of Lana is a game that I would enjoy. And some of you have seen me stream enough to have a fair inkling of what I do and don't enjoy. Tony hasn't played it. Tony can't say. That's fair enough. But some people have played it. There were people saying that they have. I have an Xbox tattoo right above my heart. Patrick, you know full well that I don't have a heart. Stop saying ridiculous things. Tom asks, what are props and how do you give them? Oh, profound. I don't know. It's me that said it, so I should know. But I don't know. I guess I won't be doing that. Peter, 2 hours in and you're enjoying it. It builds skills as it goes. But is it... you can tell me. Should I look into it? Should I add it to the list? Should I stream it? I'll download it. We'll see. We'll see. I'll give it a go. Next question. I can't say I liked Somerville, by the way, as you probably gauged from my reaction at the end. Oh, there's no more questions. We've run out. We have reached the end of today's show. So, I kind of thought this would be a really quick one because I thought my voice would go, but I can still more or less speak. We didn't cover everything from the PlayStation Showcase, but enough, right? Tomorrow is Friday and we'll have some kind of stream. 1 more hour. No. You don't even want that. I know you don't want that. And plus Painful Discourse needs to get to sleep. So, tomorrow we'll have some kind of stream. I haven't decided what yet. It might be Cyberpunk, it might be Warcraft, it might be Asgard's Wrath. Bet your ass is not going to be anything on that stinky Nintendo. That's not true. I'm even going to play... I'm going to play the Zelda games at some point. I am going to play Breath of the Wild. And or Tears of the Kingdom. Tony has voted for Cyberpunk. I don't recall calling a vote, but it could be Cyberpunk. And yes, so Painful Discourse has to go to sleep. Isla has pee to clean, probably. Everybody else has got their evenings to get to. Soaked into your pajamas now. On that note, let's just walk away from that. So thank you everyone for coming by. Please do hit the like button and leave comments and stuff. If you've got any questions that we didn't cover, do stick them in a comment or message me on Twitter or Game On Daily or Xbox or PlayStation, wherever you want, with any questions that you have, because I will try and address them Nobody ever does. But if you have any questions and you leave them for me, I will get to them next week. Or you can just drop into any of the streams that I'll be doing in the meantime. And of course, on Saturday, we've got Go Live. I don't know who the guests are yet, but I'm sure it'll be great. Sure it'll be great. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your evenings, and I'll catch you soon.